Hello YouTube, welcome to my channel, Lavender by Nature. Today I'm here to do a book brief on the book The Peach Seed by author Anita Gail Jones. The genre for this book is historical fiction and it has a total of 433 pages. It took me about 3 weeks to finish this book. Shameful to say, but it did. And if you, as you notice in the view, I have 2 copies of this book. I picked one up at the Friends of the Library for $1, and then probably within the same week I found another copy at a Dollar Tree for $1.25. So I was thinking, hey, 2 copies of this book, if I really like it, I have one I can annotate, or I have one I can share with someone, or something like that. So I ended up with 2 copies without even have read the book at all, not really knowing anything about the book. I just was intrigued by the title and that it was a Black author. So I grabbed 2 copies. I've had this book for months now, but I just decided to read it. So I just kind of want to go into 3 things I disliked about the book, and I'll add 3 things that I like about the book. So to start with the dislikes, about the book is that the story had multiple storylines, multiple time gaps or errors in time. It was present day, it was past, and then it was like history type past, like historic, like 1800 type thing, and in the 50s and the 60s, and then it was more in the 2000s. So it just has so many storylines. It introduced you to a lot of people, names, places. Yeah, it was just a lot for me. And when I read the book, I just did not want to just give up on the book, but I was not enjoying it all the way through. I enjoyed some aspects of it, and I'll let you know what those were. But far as a dislike, yeah, I just did not like all the different timelines and storylines. I think a book like this would have served better as a series, where the author could have went into more depth about a person's story from beginning to end, and then maybe brought it around together and brought that connection in in another book, but not all in one book. I just thought it was a lot. It was a lot of people, a lot of characters, a lot of times, a lot of names, places, events. Yes, all that. It was just too much. The second thing I disliked about the book is that I feel that the selling point of the book, the author didn't focus a lot on it like I feel it should have focused on. Like the storyline, the love storyline, the second chance romance, the love that was in the book really could have sold the book, but it wasn't focused on a lot. It was a lot of cutaway and come back to it, cutaway, come back to it, and you really just couldn't understand. To me, I couldn't, like, what is the struggle? Why we keep going round and about to come back, to go around and about, and it was just like, yeah, no, didn't like that. The third thing I didn't like about the book is that I like historical fiction, but I feel like this was a overreach for the historical fiction part of it, like the history. There were so many places, names, times, people, landmarks that were given to it. It just felt like an overload, like it was just spitting out, facts or history. And for me, I like historical fiction because I like to use that stuff to drive me to read other things or read more in depth of a certain event or person or place. And being that there was so much given in this book, I've lost all of that. I've lost everything that almost was ever mentioned in this book. And it was actually, some possibly things you would want to look into that you haven't heard of before, but I don't even feel like going back to flip back through the book to say, oh yeah, let me write this down so I can research this. It was just so much given to I'm burnt out. Just let's say that. And let me go into the points of what I did like about the book. What I did like about the book is, like I said, it's historical fiction. That's my genre. That's a subject matter that I enjoy. Just getting someone else's perspective, whether there's different names involved, or scenarios, but to lead to something that actually happened. I enjoy those type of books. So that's one thing I did like about the book, that it is an historical fiction. The place where the book took place majority of the time in the South, some of the areas, some of the dynamics I understood. So I was like, okay, I like that. And the peach seed, the name Peach, I'm like, okay, Peach. I saw the low waters, and I kind of, read the back of the book at first a little bit to say, okay, well, let's see where this goes. So yeah, I did like that part of it. The second thing I liked about the book is that it is a Black family narrative. There is some love. There is some emphasis on support. There is second chance romance in there. There's portrayals of strong Black matriarchal females in the book. So yes, I did like that part of the book. The third thing I liked about the book is that it's a slave narrative written into the book, but it wasn't a heavy focus of the book, and it didn't leave you in despair. It basically recounted what you already more than likely knew in some sense, but it didn't just drag you down and just beat you in the face with it. I do feel like it was some unfinished areas in the book that could have helped the book along, but I also know that could have been accomplished better had this book been written in a series. I think it would have been a whole lot better. So the questions I like to ask myself in my book collecting and reading journey is, would I keep the book in my collection? Unfortunately, I will not be keeping this book in my collection, and I have 2 copies. I plan on giving both copies away, and it will not be a referral giveaway. It will be a blind giveaway, where I will just put it in a free library type thing, the little free libraries, or donate it back to where I got it from. If anything, I will not be holding on to these books. The second thing I like to ask myself is, would I recommend this book to someone else? I will not. I just thought it was just not one of my faves. It's not enough for me to bring up in a conversation, oh, you have to read The Peach Seed. The Peach Seed by Anita Gail Jones. You have to read that. That wouldn't come from me. If someone asked me about it, I would say, you could read it. It may be your jam. It's just not mine. So, yeah, I wouldn't recommend this book to anyone else personally. Not anyone I know personally that asks for a book recommendation. And my third question I would like to ask myself is, would I read anything else by this author? As I feel today, I'm not excited about anything that, may become available by her. I haven't even looked to see if she's written anything else. If I came across something somewhere along my browsing, maybe like I say, thrifting or secondhand stores or whatever, however, secondhand stores, books, used bookstores, however, I would possibly consider it if it was at a good price. I would look up the reviews on the book, even it being used. I would want to know what other people are saying about the book just because of my experience in this book. So yeah, that is my book brief on The Peach Seed by Anita Gail Jones. Once again, thank you for joining my channel, viewing my channel, and you have a nice day.